All right, so prop firm challenges, huh? It's like this whole other side of trading we've been diving into. And honestly, it's kind of wild when you really think about it. You get the chance to, like, play with someone else's money, potentially make a killing. Sounds too good to be true, right? This was the catch.
Yeah, you definitely hit the nail on the head there. It's almost like a paradox, right? This shortcut to trading big, but it's paved with these crazy challenges, almost designed to make you slip up.
So let's back up a bit for those who might be new to this whole world. What exactly are we talking about when we say prop firms, and what's the deal with these challenges?
So basically, prop firms or proprietary trading firms are these companies that give traders like you and me the chance to use their capital, their money, right? But, and you knew there was going to be a but, you got to prove you've got the skills to play in that league. That's where the challenges come in. They're like these intense tests to see if you can actually trade, not just get lucky.
Gotcha. So it's like a tryout, but for trading.
Yeah.
They're looking for consistency, not just a one-hit wonder. And if you've got the right stuff, you get to play with the big dogs using their cash.
Exactly. These firms aren't just handing out wads of cash to anyone with a pulse. They want to see that you can consistently bring in profits, manage risk like a pro. And that's what these challenges are all about. It's their way of filtering out the noise and finding the real deal.
And from what I've gathered, there's not just one type of challenge. We're talking standard ones, tiered ones, even instant funding.
Yeah.
It's like choosing your fighter, except the prize money is way higher.
Yeah.
So is the risk of getting totally wiped out.
Yeah, you got it. Each of those types, they come with their own set of rules, risk limits, profit goals, the whole shebang. But they all come down to this. Can you trade under pressure, and can you stick to your plan even when the market throws a curveball your way?
So it's not just about having a strategy that works. It's about having nerves of steel. No pressure, right?
You got that right. And this is where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about a specific firm, FTMO, one of the more well-known ones out there. They've got this $100,000 account you can potentially trade with. Imagine the pressure. And they recently changed things up, got rid of those time limits for their challenges. Now you've got unlimited time to hit those targets.
Wait, unlimited trading? That sounds amazing. Especially if you're someone who likes to, let trades play out over time. But there's got to be a catch, right? It can't be that easy.
Oh, there's definitely a catch. While you might have all the time in the world to hit your profit goal, you still got to navigate this minefield of other rules. First off, you got to trade for a certain number of days, at least 4 during your evaluation. They want to see you're consistently in the game, not just taking a few pot shots.
Makes sense. They want traders, not gamblers. But what about those days when the market's not cooperating? When you're in the red? Tell me there's some breathing room built in.
Well, that's where that maximum daily loss limit comes in. This is the part that trips up a lot of traders. Just picture this. You've got a winning trade, right? Nets you $1,000, you're feeling good. But at the same time, you've got this other open position, it's down $6,000.
Ouch, yeah, that stings. So even though you're technically up that day, you've blown past that daily loss limit because of that one open position. Game over.
You nailed it. One bad trade, even if it's still in play, can totally derail your whole challenge. It's like a constant test of how well you can manage risk. And to add another layer, there's also a maximum loss limit for the entire challenge. So for that $100,000 account, you're looking at a 10% drawdown limit. That means your account can't go below $90,000 ever.
So even if you're playing it safe, dodging those daily losses, having a string of bad trades, one really bad day, and it's over, suddenly that whole unlimited time thing feels a little more double-edged, doesn't it?
Yep, exactly. And we haven't even touched on those profit targets yet. For the $100,000 challenge, you got to rake in a cool $10,000 just to pass.
10% profit on $100,000. Sounds pretty tempting on the surface. But something tells me there's a reason these firms are doing so well. And it's not because they're just giving away money left and right.
You're picking up on something there. Let's just say when you compare how well these challenges go for most people versus the track record of, say, a seasoned hedge fund, things get pretty interesting and maybe a little scary.
So we've kind of painted this picture of prop firm challenges being, well, pretty darn challenging. But before we dive deeper into that, you mentioned something about hedge funds and how well they do. Spill the tea. What's the connection there?
Well, you are on your game digging up that Reddit thread with data from one of these firms. Even if we're generous and say it's not the be-all, end-all, it's still eye-opening,
Dude, tell me about it. That thread was wild. Out of like 10,000 traders who took a swing at this one challenge, only a handful, 7 actually saw a payout. 7. That's less than 1%. Makes you wonder if these firms are sacrificing rubber chickens to the market gods every morning.
Right. But seriously, even if it's just one firm, it kind of lines up with what we know, right? Consistent, profitable trading. That's the holy grail. So let's imagine we've got this hedge fund. Let's call him Trend. They've got this killer track record, decades of raking in consistent returns, managing billions. You'd think these guys would breeze through these challenges, right?
Well, yeah, if anyone's got that Midas touch, it's got to be a hedge fund. What could possibly go wrong?
Here's where it gets wild. Trend would probably fail. Big time.
Wait, seriously? You're messing with me, right?
Yeah.
Spill the beans.
It all comes down to their style. See, Trend, from what I've gathered, they're all about riding those long-term trends, playing the slow and steady game, even if it means taking a few hits along the way.
Right, the whole idea of long-term gains, even if there's some short-term pain. But how does that make them fail a prop firm challenge?
Because those temporary dips, even if they're all part of the plan and they usually come back even stronger, those dips would likely trip those super strict loss limits we talked about. Like, imagine Trend's down 8% because they're built to ride out a rough patch. They're confident in a rebound, but boom, challenge over before their strategy even has a chance to work.
It's like judging a marathon runner on their 100-meter dash time. Just because they're not all about that burst of speed doesn't mean they can't go the distance. Different game entirely.
You got it. And this is actually where it gets kind of personal. You mentioned throwing your own trading system into the prop firm gauntlet, right? How'd that go?
Yeah. Gotta admit, I was feeling pretty good about it. My system's all about mean reversion, catching those quick swings in the market. Figured if any system could handle the pressure, mine was it.
So, what happened? Did you crush it?
Let's just say it was a lesson in humility, haha. My system, the one that's been consistently profitable out in the real world, failed. Hard. Even with the short-term focus, still got slapped by those darn drawdown limits. Blew me away.
Yeah, it's humbling, isn't it? Makes you realize these challenges, they're not just about being a good trader. It's about fitting into this really specific, almost artificial set of rules.
It's like trying to win a hot dog eating contest when you're a Michelin star chef.
Yeah.
Sure, you know food, but come on, this is a whole different animal.
Nailed it. It's a specialized skill set, for sure. So here we are, facing the big question. Are these prop firm challenges just elaborate scams preying on hopeful traders?
Right, let's get down to brass tacks. We've got crazy low success rates, insane pressure, the fact that even seasoned hedge funds might not cut it. Are we talking about a rigged game here? Lay it on me. So come on, spill it. Scam or no scam, give it to me straight.
All right. No need to bring out the sirens just yet. The short answer is no. These firms, they're not running some kind of elaborate hoax. When traders hit those crazy benchmarks, they get paid.
Okay, so they're not just pocketing everyone's entry fees and running for the hills, but we've also kind of established that the odds are stacked against the average trader, right? So where do we draw the line? When does a business model cross over into, well, kind of shady territory?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's like any business, right? Their goal is to make money, and for prop firms, their model hinges on volume, a whole flood of hopeful traders signing up for a challenge that, statistically speaking, most won't conquer.
So it's kind of like those all-you-can-eat buffets that are banking on you not actually eating everything in sight.
Exactly. Except instead of overeating, it's more like over trading. Or maybe just trading in a way that doesn't quite jive with the challenge's very specific, and some might say unforgiving, rules. The more traders who don't make the cut, the fatter the firm's profits get.
I see where you're going with this. It's not exactly a secret that they're benefiting when people fail, but it does make you kind of squirm a little, doesn't it?
Definitely raises some eyebrows. And that's why transparency is so crucial here. Traders need to know the score going in, not just the potential for a big payout, but the statistically high chance of biting the dust and the fact that the firm's business model is kind of built around that.
Knowledge is power, they say. But even with all this in mind, the long odds, the intense pressure, the whole ethical thing, is it even worth it to even think about taking on a prop firm challenge?
Now that, my friend, is the question only you can answer. There's no magic formula here.
Okay, so let's say you're out there listening to this right now, intrigued by the whole prop firm thing, but also feeling the weight of everything we've talked about. What are the big things you should be weighing as you make this decision?
First and foremost, brutal honesty. Are you really, truly, consistently profitable in your trading? And not just riding a lucky streak. I'm talking about consistently hitting or exceeding those challenge targets on your own. Because as we've seen, even a winning strategy in the real world might not cut it under these conditions.
Right, like being an amazing cook who just falls apart under the pressure of a timed cooking competition. Skill is one thing, but can you handle the heat?
Exactly. And even beyond just the numbers, Think about your risk tolerance. Can you stomach the possibility of kissing a chunk of that challenge fee goodbye? Even if you're doing everything right, this isn't some game, it's real money on the line.
Manage those expectations, go in with a solid plan, and brace yourself for a wild ride. But what about other options? This can't be the only show in town.
Absolutely not. Traditional finance careers, building a track record with your own capital, even finding established firms that aren't quite as intense with their evaluations. There are tons of paths you can take to becoming a professional trader.
And no matter what, never stop learning, right? The market, it's always changing. The more knowledge and experience you have, the better equipped you'll be to navigate those choppy waters.
Preach. It's a journey, man. Always learning, adapting, fine-tuning your game.
So it seems like the real challenge isn't just about acing some test or getting funded. It's about figuring out what success looks like for you as a trader. Is it about that quick win, the bragging rights, or are you in it for the long haul?
Nailed it. It's all about finding that sweet spot where your goals, your risk tolerance, your vision for the future all line up with the path you choose.
And on that note, we'll leave you all to ponder these deep thoughts. Prop firm challenges, high risk, high pressure, definitely not for the faint of heart, but hey, potentially high rewards too. Choose wisely, everyone. Until next time, happy trading.